So with the release of the Dance of Dragons update, I figured it was time to take a look at all of the new ground vehicles that have been introduced in the new update. And we're going to be starting off with the American Tech Tree and the T1E190 Heavy Tank, which is coming in at rank 3 battle rating 5.7 between the two jumbo variants, the 75mm and 76mm variants. And the main difference between this and the original T1E1 is the addition of a 90mm cannon and the removal of the gun stabilizer. But it's still got all the same benefits of the old T1E1, and of course the old disadvantages. It doesn't have the best armour in the world, unfortunately. 101mm for the lower glacis, only about 82mm for the upper hull, and then maybe up to 100 for the mantlet, but that's only if you hit the right place. You can easily just go through one of the armour plates here. But you've got that very good transmission, so you've got a top speed of 23.1 miles per hour forwards and backwards. And of course, because we've now got that 90mm gun, we can now pack a little bit more punch against more heavily armoured enemies. And we still retain that 37mm gun for against lighter armoured vehicles. And the 90mm gun does provide a little bit more parity against some more heavily armoured vehicles like the Panther. And all in all, this just seems to be basically just a straight upgrade from the original T1E1. So I think this is a very good addition to the American Heavy Tank lineup. And yeah, I think this is going to be a very fun vehicle for players to use in War Thunder. Other than that, the only other major addition is that the M41A1 has been given a visual update, so it does look a little bit more sharper than it used to, which is always welcome. There's been a few visual changes in this update, so it's nice to see them going back and doing some of the older vehicles. Then moving on to Germany, they only got the one extra vehicle, which is the Puma VJTF, which is folded with the original Puma. And the main difference between this and the original vehicle is the addition of the Spike LR2 anti-tank guided missiles. So these have got a penetration of 700mm, and it's got a tandem charge, so it should be good against ERA equipped enemies. And it's got a lock range of 20km and a missile guidance time of 45 seconds. And like I say, this is broadly the same as the original Puma, so I'm not aware of any other major changes to this. You've still got the optical active protection system, you've still got your 30mm cannon, top speed of 44 miles per hour. Yeah, basically, as far as I'm aware, this is very similar to the original Puma, but I haven't really had much experience in using that vehicle, so I don't think I've missed anything, but please leave a comment below if I have. Then moving on to the Russians, they only got one new vehicle in this update, which is the ZSU 23-4M2, which comes between the ZSU 57-2 and 37-2 at rank 5 battle rating 7.3. And basically this is a regular Shilka, but with the radar removed and double the ammunition complement, so 4,000 rounds instead of 2,000. So this is good in some ways, so having this at a lower battle rating will make this very lethal against late war prop aircraft and early jets. But of course, without the radar, you're going to have less warning of enemies coming for you. And with that extra ammunition, you're going to be a lot easier to ammo rack. And because you're at a lower battle rating, it might paradoxically do a little bit worse against enemy ground vehicles. Because the original Shilka might go up against something like the Leopard, which has lighter armour. This will easily go up against Panthers and Tiger IIs, which have quite thick armour. So you might not necessarily be able to take those vehicles down very well, even if flanking. So some trade-offs that are good in some ways, but some trade-offs that are not very good in other ways. Then the other major change for the Russian tech tree is another visual change for the T80U-E1, which, like I say, has been given a visual update, but has also been given a camouflage net that can be equipped to the vehicle. We take this for a test drive with the reference vehicle modifications, so it should be equipped. And so there is the camouflage net, which is, that's kind of good to have. Not sure how much difference it's going to have in game, but it's always nice to have the extra options regardless. Then moving on to Britain, again only one extra vehicle, which is the Stormer AD between the Marksman and Stormer HVM at rank 7 battle rating 10.0. And unlike the later Stormer vehicle, this comes with a 25mm cannon. So this can fire your standard HVAP and semi-armour piercing high explosive incendiary tracer shells, max penetration of 46mm. You can also have a belt with the semi-armour piercing shells and a lot of high explosive incendiary shells, so good for against enemy aircraft, or you can fire a HVAP majority belt, so better for against enemy ground forces. And then you've also got the Stinger missiles. So you can fire the FIM-92E and 92K. There doesn't seem to be much difference between these missiles, but the K does have a trigger radius of 1 meter. So presumably that will detonate at 1 meter away from enemy targets, increasing the lethality. Other than that, they both have all aspects targeting, a lock range in the rear aspect of 11 kilometers, all aspect of 6 kilometers, and a missile guidance time of 15 seconds. Also comes with a laser rangefinder, thermal vision devices for the gunner, night vision for the driver, a 7.62mm machine gun here for against soft-skin vehicles. The gunner's got track IRST with a range of 10 kilometers and a zoom of 2.6 to 8 times zoom. And then you've got your radar up here with a range of 11 kilometers. Pretty thin armor, but again, this isn't really meant for going up against enemy ground vehicles. And then you've got a fairly decent speed of 50 miles per hour forward and backwards on 7 gears. And you've also got a little bit of internal armour for your 3-man crew. So again, this seems like a decent addition to the British tech tree, just filling out the anti-air lineup a little bit more. And you can see more of the damageable modules like the driver controls and the electronic equipment. So it's nice to see that's being added to new vehicles as well. Then moving on to Japan, they didn't get any new regular vehicles, but they got the CTWV RCV, battle rating 9.7, rank 7. You can see a whole lot of spall liners and internal armour here. And this is armed with a 30mm Bushmaster 2 Mark 44 cannon. So much like other vehicles using this weapon, you've got your APDS rounds, high explosive incendiary tracers, and your top tier APFS DS round. And of course, it comes with a 2-plane gun stabilizer. It's got a scout UAV, can be fitted with smoke grenades, has thermal vision devices for the gunner, commander, and driver, and comes with a laser warning system and laser rangefinder. And the gunner's got zoom of 4 times to 13.3, and the same zoom for the commander, whose optics are all the way back here. And armour isn't the best in the world, but it does have some external composite screens, so good against other enemy IFVs, but not necessarily that good against enemy main battle tanks and the like. And your crew are quite spread out, so you've got your driver here at the front, you've got your commander and gunner in the turret itself, and then a machine gunner and loader right at the back here. So you've got a large crew, so some redundancy for against crew losses, and they're quite spread out, so one-shot kills are a little bit less likely. For example, if the turret gets taken out, the 2 crew at the back here can quickly fill in their spaces if they've managed to remain unharmed. And it's got a top speed of 69 miles per hour on 5 gears forward, 25 miles per hour on 2 gears backwards. And here's the traverse rate, so very fast traversing turret, very fast elevating turret, and here is its fire rate. So pretty fast fire rate, good against lightly armoured vehicles and against the flanks of enemy tanks. And there's your commander view. Then moving on to China, they got 2 new vehicles in this update. First of all, we'll look at the Antelope ATS, which comes between the PGZ-04A and the Tor M1, battle rating 10.3, rank 7. And this is basically just a truck with some surface-to-air missiles fitted to the back. So you've got a radar with 10km range, and you've got these AAM TC-1L missile launchers, which fire the TC-1L missiles. So these have got a maximum overload of 35G, all aspects targeting, 11 kilometers for rear aspect targeting, only 3 kilometers for all aspect targeting, missile guidance time of 60 seconds, and a trigger radius of 5 meters. And the gunner's got access to thermal vision devices, the driver night vision devices, and it's got a top speed of 61 miles per hour going forward on 6 gears, 7.5 miles per hour on 1 gear in reverse. And so the gunner's got optics with a zoom of 8 times to 12 times zoom. And then there's your 3-man crew, very vulnerable indeed. The commander can fire the main armament, but I'm going to be honest, I struggle to see a situation where only one of these dies. I mean, you just need 1 bullet from the side to take out all of them. And if it's like half a metre to the right, then you can easily take out the fire control system, the radio, and the driver controls. Again, there's a lot of modules on here that can be easily destroyed. So it looks like it'll be a decent vehicle, but very vulnerable. You're not going to be able to go up against basically anything on the ground. You haven't even got a machine gun for basic defense, so it might be good against enemy aircraft, but vulnerable to basically everything else. Then the other vehicle is the Al Khalid, which is a pack vehicle at rank 7, battle rating 10.7. So this was a joint venture between China and Pakistan, as far as I'm aware. So you got the said PT-98 cannon, fires HFS shells, HE, 2 APFS DS rounds, and your HEVT shell, so good against enemy ground targets and enemy air targets. And you've got a 7.62mm machine gun in the Kraxel position, 12.7mm machine gun on the roof, comes with a 2-plane gun stabilizer, reload rate of 7.1 seconds, a laser rangefinder, can be fitted with a dozer blade, has smoke grenades and a smoke generating system, and thermal vision devices for the gunner, commander and driver. Got a whole bunch of composite armour and external ERA armour, so you've got composite armour at the turret and hull fronts, and ERA armour for the upper hull front and the turret. You've also got some slat armour around the sides and rear of the turret, so that's a little bit extra protection there. Though the external armour underneath doesn't look the best in the world, but again, remember we have got some composite armour that shows up only in the internal view. And it's got a top speed of 48 miles per hour on 7 gears forward, 21.9 miles per hour on 4 gears in reverse. And you've got a crew of 3, so you've got your commander and gunner in the turret here, and your driver at the front. Commander's got zoom of 6 times, and the gunner's got zoom of 3 times to 10 times. And there's the turret traverse rate and the elevation. So not the fastest in the world, but not the worst either. And the tank turns pretty well on the spot, so good for getting out of a tricky situation or if you need to turn quickly. And yeah, the ammunition seems to be pretty decent against enemy vehicles. So yeah, this will probably be a decent vehicle, but I won't be buying it myself, to be honest. There's also your driver and your commander view. And then last but not least, the ZTZ-99A has also been given an updated visual module, so that's how it now looks like in-game. And again, I haven't really used this vehicle, haven't looked at it in a very long time, but it does look a little bit sharper than what I would expect. So yes, again, it's good that they're going back and doing some of these visual changes. Then moving on to Italy, they didn't actually get a new vehicle, but the Freccia has been given the Janus optic system. So now the commander's got an optic system with 2.5 to 10 times zoom. So yeah, it's good to see that's been added to the Freccia. Good that they've gone back and added that new module in. Then moving on to France, again, it's another squadron vehicle, the CV9035NL, rank 7, battle rating 9.7. Pretty similar to other vehicles of this type. So it's got the 35mm Bushmaster 3 cannon, fires APDS, high explosive incendiary tracer shells, armour piercing incendiary tracer shells, and your top tier APFS-DS shells. And of course it comes with a 2-plane gun stabilizer. Can be equipped with smoke grenades, got a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. It's got a laser warning system and a laser rangefinder, thermal vision devices for the gunner and commander, only night vision for the driver. Armour is not the thickest in the world, only maxing out at 20mm for the front, but it does have this new composite armour, the Side Pro and the Roof Pro armour. So this looks like it protects more against kinetic shells than the regular composite screens. They only have like a 0.16 multiplier, I believe, against non-heat shells. So they're basically worthless, whereas this is still giving 42mm protection on a total of 60mm of armour, so it looks like it is a lot better against kinetic shells. But again, that's only really going to help you against IFV type vehicles. I mean, the side armour is just very bad, 10mm to 6mm, just adding a little bit of external composite armour is not going to particularly save you. Though it does seem to be a lot thicker on the side, so 60mm, so I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will protect you against some of the less penetrating shells. Definitely seems better than regular composite armour. And then you've got a top speed of 48 miles per hour forward on 8 gears, 27.6 miles per hour on 4 gears. You've got internal spool liners and regular armour. You've got your crew of 3, driver up the front here, and your commander and gunner in the turret. Commander can also fire the main armament. He's got zoom of 1 times to 6 times zoom. Gunner's got 8 times zoom. And you can see more of these modules that can be damaged, like the fire control system. And here is the traverse and elevation of the gun. And here is the fire rate. So again, seems to be a pretty decent weapon. Won't be the best against more heavily armoured vehicles, but, you know, on their flanks and such. And it seems to turn pretty well on the spot. Then for the Swedes, we unfortunately only got the one vehicle, which is the Finnish KV-1 M1942, which is a premium vehicle in the Swedish tech tree. So it's for sale for 2,980 Golden Eagles, battle rating 5.0, rank 3. So I believe this KV variant hasn't actually been given to the Russians yet, because this is a later variant. So you've got this cast turret, it's quite rounded in areas. It's got the CIS-5 gun, which is already present in the Soviet tech tree. So it can fire a whole slew of shells, APHEBC shells, APCR, APBC, high explosive, shrapnel, smoke, basically all your standard shells that are usually on the CIS-5. You've got your coaxial machine gun. The armour is pretty good, so it looks like it has been given some external armour. So at the front here, you've got 70mm plus 25. And again, you can see that for the upper whole front. So this is going to be a very heavily armoured vehicle, very tough to take down. And it's just heavily armoured all over the place, to be honest. Like, KV-1s are always very tough to take down if you haven't got the right tank, especially if you're like in a down tier. You've got your crew of 5, driver and machine gunner at the front, loader, gunner and commander in the turret. Top speed of 21.3 miles per hour forward and 5 gears, 3.8 miles per hour in reverse on 1, and your gunner's got optics of 1.9 to 3.5 times zoom. And here's how it turns on the spot. There's the traverse. You've also got a machine gun on the roof that traverses very quickly, but it hasn't got much elevation, so good if an unarmed vehicle comes up against you, but not necessarily the best for going up against enemy aircraft. So if they're coming in low, that might be possible to engage them pretty quickly. See, it's not got the best traverse in the world. Depression isn't the best either, but it's to be expected from this type of tank from this era. And yeah, I think this will be a pretty decent premium vehicle for the Swedish tech tree. Then moving on, last but not least, we have the Israelis. Again, only one vehicle, which is the Terran 6, which comes in just before the Merkava Mark 1B at rank 6, battle rating 8.7. And this, from what I understand, is basically just a T-62 that was captured by the Israelis. I don't think it had massive modifications. So you can see it's got a 50 cal Browning machine gun on the turret here, and you've got your 30 cals at the back here. I'm pretty sure it even fires Soviet ammunition. I mean, this looks like Soviet ammunition, so again, if you've used this T-62 before and the Soviet tech tree, you sort of know what you're going to get already. It comes with night vision devices for the gunner, commander and driver. Can't be fitted with smoke grenades or smoke generating system, which is a bit unfortunate. It seems to have broadly the same armour as the regular T-62. And unfortunately, you've got those fuel tanks at the front here, so that might be a bit of a problem if you penetrated from the front. It's got a 2-plane gun stabiliser, and you've got a crew of 4, so your driver at the front here, gunner, commander and loader in the turret. Gunner's got 3.5 to 7 times zoom, and the commander's got 1 times to 5 times zoom. And your top speed is 31 miles per hour forward on 5 gears, 4.7 miles per hour in reverse on 1 gear. So yeah, it seems like a decent addition for the Israeli tech tree, but it's not exactly a groundbreaking vehicle either. Though it also doesn't really fill a gap because we've already got an Israeli tank at 8.7 already, from what I remember. So still a nice addition for the Israeli tech tree regardless. And so that is the ground vehicles that have been added in the Dance of Dragons update. So not the most ground vehicles in the world, but they do seem to be decent vehicles. I mean, they're not exactly going to set the world alight, at least for me. I mean, the vehicle I'm looking forward to the most probably is the T1E190. Although even then, I'm probably not going to go for this straight away because, you know, I'm trying to advance the American tech tree at the moment. But I don't think we've had any particularly bad vehicles here, but yeah, just nothing that would particularly set the world alight for my liking anyway. I'm sure those of you who play the higher tiers are probably more excited for some of the vehicles, like the SAM vehicles, which fair enough, you know, I'll probably be enjoying those vehicles when I get to the higher tiers myself. But yeah, for the moment, I'm just quite happy that the T1E190 has been added. It's just a shame that some nations haven't really got vehicles that haven't been premiums or squadron vehicles, but hopefully we'll get a more ground-focused update in the future. Anyway, that's all the ground vehicles of the Dance of Dragons update. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. I've been Tyranno, and I'll see you next time.